primary and secondary literature. By the end of this video, you will be able to distinguish between primary and secondary publications and understand the role they play in your education. Primary literature are publications that present to the field the findings of an original study, detailing how that study was conducted. Primary literature represents the first time a study and its findings are being presented to the research community. This is normally done through peer-reviewed publications. It is the result of research being conducted by experts within a particular field. To locate primary research, you must use a database. The library subscribes to hundreds of databases. The database can be accessed via the library's homepage. Each database serves as a table of contents to tens of thousands of journals. This is the most efficient and effective way to locate relevant research articles. Our databases are organized in two different fashions, alphabetically and by discipline. If you know the name of the database you wish to use, simply click on the corresponding letter to its title, and then find it in the alphabetical listing. Alternatively, you can select economics from the drop-down menu. On the next page, you'll be brought to a list of databases that you can choose from. An upcoming video will demonstrate how to select a database and how to search it. Primary literature tends to be organized in a particular way, and there are a few things for you to look for in identifying the type of source you are looking at. First off, where did you find it? Did you find it using a database? What type of publication is it? Is it a journal or is it a magazine? Let's take a closer look at what each of these sections means. The title is normally a concise description of the study itself. This will be followed by a list of authors. Think about who the authors are. Normally, the authors will be affiliated with an academic institution, a research organization, or a center of study. Only those who are involved in the study will have their names listed in the article. The order in which they are listed indicates their level of involvement in the research. A well-written abstract should clearly and concisely outline the research, its purpose, the methods used, the results, and conclusion. If the abstract is not relevant to the topic you are interested in, stop reading and find another. The abstract should mirror the content of the article. There should be no surprises. The introduction, it does just that. The introduction allows the authors to give the readers background information relating to their study while clearly stating their study's objectives and goals. The literature review is one of the most important sections of a paper. This is where the researcher situates their own study within the existing body of literature, telling you what has already been done and its significance. This is where the author restates the purpose of their study, how it differs from what's already been published, and how it will contribute to the field. Pay attention to the studies that the authors cite. In the literature review, the authors are giving you concise summaries of the literature they have consulted. Literature reviews are useful in that they can point you to other authoritative sources to use for your papers. There will also be a section outlining how the researcher is going to explore the research problem they've identified, namely their methodological approach, which can include how they're going to gather data and how that data is going to be analyzed. The reader is then presented with the results or the outcomes of the research. Depending on the discipline, this section may include charts, diagrams, images, graphs, figures, and tables. This is typically followed by a section where the author discusses their findings and subsequent significance. They will also discuss the limitations of their study, implications of the findings, and potential areas for future research. All academic and scholarly articles will provide you with a list of references. Examine and critique the list, making note of any texts you may wish to consult for your own research. So what are secondary sources? Secondary sources interpret and discuss the findings of original research studies that have already been published. These types of sources can take many forms, including review articles, critiques, books, handbooks, encyclopedias, dictionaries, popular news and magazine articles, websites, and your textbook. They are different from primary sources in that they are not the result of original research. Rather, they provide the reader with a summary or a synthesis of existing research or facts, presenting to the reader generalized information found in primary research papers. Does this mean that they're not important? No, they play a very important role in helping you, a budding expert, to grasp new and difficult concepts presented in primary research papers. By providing you with background information, definitions, illustrations, examples, and more.
Most news reports will not include formal citations to allow you to track down the exact report they're referring to. In some cases, they will include a direct link. Here you'll see they include a link to the Statistics Canada study. If a direct link is not included in the article, take the keywords that you find, Google it, and track it down to its original source. The other thing to watch for are the names of experts as they appear in the article. Search the experts' names and the general topic in Google Scholar to read their published research. Remember, secondary sources are great to use, but they should always point to something more authoritative.